Hello, beautiful souls. It is Orsi, your Ayurvedic health counselor and frequency healer. And today I am continually having my thoughts on water. And I have just recorded a video a few minutes ago, but I'm just feeling inspired, which is my favorite space to be at. So I decided to continue about this water conversation. So the last couple of videos, I have been really talking a lot about water and the different aspects, perspectives of water, why it is such a magnificently significant element out of the 5 elements that the entire universe and everything alive is made up of. And water is essential also because of cellular hydration will enhance cellular communication and gene signaling and gene communication and expression all need to do with water. And why is so? It's because water, my friends, carry prana. Prana, which is life force energy, always travels in water. So this is a critical component, and as we're marching into the age of Aquarius and a very new earth, you will find that hydration has or will have even a higher significance than ever before, and it will take precedence even before nutrition, as in terms of substances of food and supplementation. And that is because water is your delivery system. It also is responsible for delivering information through your system, through your physical body, and then through your mind or emotional body, which is where we store all our thoughts and emotions. Or aura, that field is what I'm talking about, and it goes way beyond that to the causal body, also is known as the karma body in Ayurvedic medicine and principles and psychology. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I'm so excited to share with you as I am building a phenomenal, firstly, free webinar and then a master class, which is going to embody the subject matter of inherited diseases, ancestral trauma, and also how this connects to your level of hydration, the quality of your cellular hydration, the quantity and quality of your water metabolism, how that connects to the sacral chakra, how that connects to actually inherited diseases, and how that also connects to clearing karma, which is nothing more and nothing less than accumulated imprints in your field. How can we clear those accumulated imprints or impressions that are faulty in our system? And so hydration has a major role in this process. So I wanted to say to you that water plays the key role in how the information is exchanged. So you need to be mindful of that it is the medium, water is the medium through which all nature is governed. So we cannot ignore this whatsoever anymore, whether we talk about the planet's water metabolism and our oceans and our rivers and our lakes and our streams and our waterfalls and the health of that water metabolism. It is directly connecting to our water metabolism, the quality of water we actually consume, for example, will all have to do with these topics. So I will be releasing in the next few days all the information, how you can register to my free class. And then once we onboarded the number of people, then we will be able to post on the master class, which is going to be a deep dive into this topic. And I have the most phenomenal discovery to share with you all. And I only will be sharing that information for now in the masterclass space. And then there will be eventually the right time and space where that information will flow further out. Okay, so our earth is a gigantuous container of water, and everything living is actually a container of water. Water is also very strongly connected, and why do you think so? To productivity, creativity, sensuality, reproduction, our emotions, how we store emotions, how we can process, how successfully we can process emotions, to brain health, which all connects to hydrogen, is the fuel of the brain, you guys. So hydration and hydrogen and hydrating all need to be understood in the context of electrical charge and how that brings energy and electrical current through the body, how that has to do with essential macro minerals so that we're able to successfully transmit the electrical charge through our system. So we will talk about these more in detail in my free class and then later on in the master class as well. Now, you know that depending on age, all human beings are about 70 to 90% water. When a baby is born, you know how they smell so sweet. That's because they're actually almost 90% hydrated at that point. They bring a lot of information in when they're born right away, immediately. And as we age, we unfortunately dry out. Drying out has to do with a lot of things, but from an elemental perspective, it has to do with air energetics. Air has to do with even if we're stressed, a lot of air goes through our system. When we get dehydrated, there's not enough water energetics. Air is drying everything out in its way. It oxidizes us further. It has to do with oxidative stress, which I also have spoken about in a separate video, which you can find on my channel if you scroll further down, or we can just link it here for you guys. We are supposed to consume minimum 2.5-3 liters of water a day. Most definitely, I can assure you in my 10 years of experience with people across the globe that most of us are actually dehydrated, and most people honestly don't even drink close to 2 liters of water a day whatsoever, no matter what the statistics are telling you. I'm telling you, they do not. Okay, so you need to gear this up. Go and have at least 2.5-3 liters of water a day through your system is the number one consideration. Then your number two consideration will be of the quality of the water that you consume. So you need to really look at what you drink, how that water was processed. Was it processed? Preferably, maybe please no processing. Or in other words, what the properties are to that water. As we're also marching into the age of Aquarius, which is a very peculiar eon of time humanity entered now, you're going to see how biology and technology emerge. And while I am much more of a natural girl than anything else, and I'm not much of a tech person, I do realize that there will be certain technologies in this space that will be very beneficial to humanity, especially when they're able to grasp the idea of biomimicry. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of biomimicry, but biomimicry is, let's say, how now we've got airplanes, the observation of how flight occurs with birds and the observation of how that mechanism is and how that process was or is, that's been observed by scientists and inventors, and then they started to invent something that now today we just sit on an airplane and fly someplace, and maybe most of us never really think about it in this context anymore, but really isn't it just some else, like we're like few tens of thousands of feet above the ground and we just fly from one place to the next. Imagine if you had told this to people 2, 3, 400 years ago, what they would have just like, they would have been like, oh my God, right? So new technologies, or even when I grew up, like the idea of a smartphone would have been like, whoa, like the idea of us talking in a video conferencing with one another would be like a wow. So there are new things that always emerge, and that is, I think, part of the evolution that we have. That's the evolutionary journey. And so as long as we keep it in balance, I love the biomimicry idea. So it will happen where air ionizers are going to pop up in, and it's not new, guys. It's quite out there now, but it's just not popular yet, if you will. Most of the public has not caught on to this yet. And I entered the space of water ionizers 10 years ago because it was something that actually changed my life and healed me on a cellular level, where nobody knew what to do with me anymore. And if you are curious, I have got my story on my website at wellnesswavecreations.com. I invite you to go there and browse around on my water page and see how and what happened to me and what brought me to that space, which ever since the cellular hydration business really has completely changed my life, and I have been able to in turn change many people's lives. So I'm ever grateful for this intelligence that came into my world and my life and my space at the time. So truly, it's become a passion. And so my understanding about water by now is quite vertical. And I really, really, really implore you to look at water before you look at food, in the sense that it is your delivery system. And I have spoken about that in previous videos. So just check those out. I'm not gonna repeat the same things that I already had said in those videos. Okay, so what happens is when we get, aging signs on our body, when we get wrinkles, when we have brain fog, when we cannot digest well, when we're trying to find out why in the name of the God we're gaining weight, all of the issues with allergies and seasonal allergies and all kinds of many other things, that all of our bodily processes are compromised and we're trying to find a solution, then I say to you guys that you need to look at your level of hydration first before you look at anything else. Of course, body, mind, soul correlation, where I'm the biggest, advocate for it, especially in Ayurvedic medicine. That is the basic idea behind Ayurveda, which is the knowledge of life, is that we examine the wellness, the wholeness of a person on all three levels. But when we have to start somewhere. So when you're looking at the physical body, look at the hydration before you look at anything else. And that is going to be a very dominant idea for the age of Aquarius times and for the next few years to come, for sure. And then from within that framework, restructured water is going to be a big thing. Structured water, restructured water. I talked about this last video where I tried to bring a parallel to you guys between a coal and a diamond. Both of them are carbon structures, and both of them have the exact same composition, but very different structure. Isn't it some different how they show up in the world, how people would value a piece of diamond versus a clump of coal, and why? And the actual way of how we utilize a clump of coal versus a piece of diamond. So what does that have to do with structure then? Then you will know that the structure of something is a very paramount idea versus its composition. So the same ideology is true for water, and those waters that have got those special properties in the blue zones in the world, which I also mentioned in previous videos. Check them out. There's also a cool book called The Blue Zones, phenomenal book and a major eye opener. Then you will find that water has a major significance in the context of its properties. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. Water travels in clusters. The clusters are big, they're not as easy to process or to swallow. While if there's a restructured water, then the water molecules are smaller clusters. It's more easily penetrating to the cells. So it is a more successful upload, especially if that water is electrically charged, meaning there's an electrolysis process there that happens in nature just the same way. So imagine a thunderstorm and a lightning to the lakes and rivers. Do you know that the fish actually come up to the surface of these waters? And that is because of the presence of electrical charge after a storm. And all fish actually die at a plus 100 to plus 300 millivolt water environment, and a plus is no good in this case. What we are looking for is negative millivolts. All our cells are operate in a healthy format at minus 22 millivolts, and if we actually hit the plus 30 millivolt operation of our cells, then cancer and other diseases ensue immediately. So the millivoltage, electrical charge, electricity, buoyancy to water, having its smaller clusters more available to the cellular matrix, if you will, is critical, and it's an absolute critical consideration when you choose your water source and how you hydrate on a daily basis. And because most of us do not live in these blue zones, you guys, we have to bring this down to our household. It is definitely a big thing that we need to think about. Okay, so this is it for me on this video today, and I can't wait to see you on the next one, where I'll continue this conversation about the properties of water in the context of holistic health and wellness. All right, namaste. Ciao, you all. Have a good day. Adios.